Welcome back to Newsmaker Live. Thank you very much. It's our final segment. What can the public look forward to in this year's panorama?
Well, first off, they can look out for Fantastic Friday. Mr. Colton, you tell him about our Fantastic Friday.
Fantastic Friday. That's Panorama Night is dubbed Fantastic Friday. Okay, so you come out here and you listen to music, orchestration. That's what it is. Panorama is not a jump and weave kind of activity. Panorama is a sit down and listen to activity.
We have a call on the line. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening. This caller is for Miss Paul and Mr. Kojon. For the last couple of years, Panmen has been under culture fighting to have the show the same night with Sexy in Black. What implications are you guys trying to put in this year so that Panorama can probably finish a little earlier, so then persons now can then go to the show Sexy in Black, so that it won't be a clash, people won't be walking out while other bands are being played?
Well, Miss, thanks for your question.
That's a very good question.
Very good question, because that's something we have been battling with. That's a challenge for us. I think we are competing with a private show. Sexy in Black or Regis in Black, one of it. And the bands themselves suffer because a lot of patrons come to Panorama first and then to go to Sexy in Black. And you find that if we have a prolonged show, people walk out of your competition, walk out of your show, and then the bands that come afterwards suffer because they don't get the audience. And that is why we are trying to limit the time
Tighter show.
To have a tighter show. So that, I mean, we cannot start earlier than 7 o'clock. Because remember, it's a Friday night, people coming from work. If it was a Saturday, then you can start from a 5 o'clock and let people would come in because they have half day Saturday and whatnot. But remember, the Friday night, people, carnival weekend again, people are working and whatnot and they have to come. So if you start at 5 o'clock, then they might miss half of the small bands.
But why can't it be on a different day? Because I mean, there is so much logistical thought that needs to be taken in organizing Panorama. You have to move all these bands and stuff. Why can't it be done on a Saturday night, as you said, or probably on a Sunday, you know, when you have more time, well, people have more time to come to the show and you can do stuff a little easier? Well,
we have to fight with the different organizers of Carnival, the different event managers. Because remember, you have Soca Monarch, which I think Saturday has always been their night. And then you have Calypso, which Sunday is their night. For you to get one of those nights, it has to be an interchange. We have lobbied for the Saturday and give the Soca Monarch the Friday.
Yeah, but Soca Monarch was not always there. Soca Monarch is relatively new, and Panorama has been there for decades. I mean, I would imagine that you would if the Bands Association, the Steel Bands Association, was more organized, that you would have been able to secure that slot.
But remember, there had not been Panorama for a couple of years.
Right, yes.
So those persons had filled in that slot. And now we have to fight to regain it.
Now they have rooted themselves in, so you can plug them out.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have tried to lobby, and we're still lobbying for the Saturday. We are still lobbying for the Saturday. But we just ain't getting nowhere with that. But I personally believe a Saturday would be more ideal for the Panorama, that you can be able to move your racks and do what it is and have a better show, because people will be rested. They come in Saturday night, you start an early show and you end early. But as it is, we have the Friday, so we have to deal with that. We have to work with that. And like I said earlier, we cannot start before 7 o'clock.
Right. Well, the most that we are doing right now is trying to market our show to get the public very interested, and they would want to stay until the end of the show. For now, for this year, this is I think the strategy that we're trying to put up forward to compete with the other show on that night, is to really get patrons to come out and only come out to see Panorama without having the want to go anywhere else.
So what kind of music?
Yeah, and what kind of programs are you putting in place to market it, to ensure that people come out?
Well, we had our Pan Clash.
Right.
We also have, we have our Facebook page. We also have, the BB, the technology is very widespread, so we keep sending our reminders, our countdowns, getting people, going excited. And so we are using these mediums that are free. And we also have ads over, I think it's RSL, or some of the radio stations. We have some ads going out, so to get people listening in and wanting to come to our show.
And those patrons who are coming out, you know, for Panorama, Fantastic Friday, as you call it. I mean, what can they expect? What are they looking forward to? You know, we have more bands now. We have 80 minutes of continuous music. What can they expect to see?
Well, coming from the Pan Clash, I can tell you they are in for good music this year. And even while we were there, we could see that the competition is on. And my band being Super J Survivors, coming from the Panya before I came here tonight, I heard arrangements going on. There were changes to the music because they have heard other pieces that have interested them, and they're really going out there to, you know, push that music to be number one. So I can guarantee the patrons that you're going to get quality music and competing music on that night.
Competitive music, like keen and competitive music. That's what you expect.
Now, the breaks. I'm interested in the breaks because for patrons, you know, you don't want it to be a drag. What sort of entertainment do you have in between, you know, so that they can still be entertained while they wait for the next side to come on?
Again, that's a change that may take place. That's a change that may take place because, again, like we're saying, some of the bands they would compose their music. So to get the public familiarized with the music before the band played, in the changeover, we used to have the music being played 2 or 3 times until the band is set up and ready to play. I think one of the changes we want to make, because again, it gets boring after, it gets monotonous and boring after a while. So one of the things that we want to do this year is that, okay, prior to the band coming on, you play the music. And then now we would try to get the MCs to entertain the crowd by giving giveaways, catch the interest of the crowd, or have other music being played on stage. We have tried bringing in guest artists, but again, these are costly. Because if you have to bring in, say you have to bring in a Calypsonian, then he will have to be playing on playback. Okay, and it is costly. Nobody does anything for free these days. So you have to pay everybody that comes to Panorama perform, you have to be.
That almost sounds like Invader's tune from last year for a cut.
Okay. Everybody wants something. Okay, and it is costly, and you know already exactly what it is. You know, for us, it is a costly venture to run Panorama, so we have to save costs everywhere we can.
Now, in terms of the Trinidad experience, I know that Trinidad is the mecca of carnival, the home of the steel pan. What sort of influences or examples have you drawn from Trinidad to make, you know, our pan size, to make Panorama a big and a better event for the patrons that come in?
Okay, in terms of the Trinidad experience, that's what we're trying to model after. We're trying to model after the Trinidad experience. But again, like you're saying, we have limitations here. In Trinidad, you have the Savannah, nice big stage, way in, way out, and the bands move smoothly, you know. But here, we're limited. We have our issues.
We had a final call. Good evening. Please go ahead, caller. Hello? Please go ahead, caller. Okay, I think we're having a little difficulty with the line here, so we don't seem to be hearing that caller. Yeah, so I mean, in Trinidad, you said you would not have those limitations.
No, we don't have they don't have these limitations in Trinidad, because what I've noticed while out in Trinidad, you have an entrance and an exit. So the band just flows across the stage, and they move. And again, Trinidad is a Saturday night. Now you also have to understand Trinidad has a pan culture.
Right.
So people don't mind spending a whole night at the Savannah
listening to
steel bands.
And you have many more sides playing.
And you have 10 bands, 10 big bands playing. Right. So Trinidad has a pan culture, huge band. So okay, say for instance Trinidad experience, you have a whole day when you come to prelim, you have a whole day of pan. And people line there for a whole day. You can't do that in St. Lucia. I don't think it will be profitable to anybody in St. Lucia.
Do you think that there will be any point in our future where, you know, this would be
the preliminaries?
Yeah, I mean, you'll have that sort of interest in pan.
Well, we're trying to build it. We are really trying our best to build it.
And how long do you think that might take?
It will take a while. It will take a while. But again, the art form is actually growing. The art form is growing, because if you look at from the 5 major bands they used to have, you have bands springing up all over now. Okay, you have 10 bands within the competition, plus there are bands that are out of the competition at this time right now. Yes, small size, but they are wrong. And there's a lot of interest in the thing. If you notice, with all of the bands, the majority of the players in the bands are the youth. You know, and the youth get interested. Like I said, pan is a visual thing, so people come and see, and they always want to get involved. Pan is probably one of the easiest instruments to play, or one of the hardest instruments to play. With the pan, you don't really have to go and learn music. You can take it on your own to learn music. But you come there, most times a lot of panists, they come in and they start playing notes. Is what to show you. What I show you is what you play, and you hear a tune coming out of it. And then afterwards, if you are motivated, then you would take it a step further to understand the music that you're playing. So some people come in the barnyard, and that's how the pan sides grow. People come in and they play notes, they play a tune. You come in and you give them arrangement, and they just play the arrangement. They may not even have the ear for it. You just play the arrangement that you give them, and there is about according to the ambition of the person that you move on. Coming out of the steel band movement has had some big musicians out here. Gene Leon came from the steel band from Diamond Steel. Imran Simmons came from Diamond Steel. You have a number of big musicians out here that came from the steel band movement. And they have arrangers here that came from the steel band movement. Look at Allison. Allison Markey is one. You know, so there is scope for it. We have scope.
Great, wonderful. Well, I want to thank you very much, Vineta Paul, President of the St. Lucia Steel Bands Association, and Julian Cauldron, the PRO and the head of the organizing committee for Panorama. Fantastic Friday, that's next week Friday at Beausejour. Just before we end, a program note on the Law Factor Live tomorrow. Julia discusses why St. Lucia's physicians must engage in teamwork. A down-to-earth and honest look at the importance of teamwork amongst physicians and the physician-patient relationship. Her guests tomorrow will be Dr. Owen Gabriel, Dr. Albert Titus, and of course Dr. Winston Paris. Should be a very interesting show. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock. That's the Law Factor Live, only on DBS. Well, I'll be back next week, God willing, for another program. Join me for that then. But before that, we'll be here on the weekend for Press Club, where we will be breaking down the news developments for the past week. Until that time, Clinton Reynolds, so long. All right, thank you.